President
Michael Crawley.
And we just wanted to do a rebroadcast here in the event that in last couple of weeks ago when we released the announcement of our new mobile app.
Yes.
We've had a couple of updates since that time, so we kind of wanted to get you up to speed, make sure that you're aware of everything that we have going on with it. We really think this thing is going to change the way you guys manage your safety programs.
Definitely.
This is really going to be a great help for you. It's not only going to help you to remain compliant, but it's also going to help you to increase the awareness with the ease of doing safety lessons for your employees.
No doubt. This is going to help you guys be able to organize, maintain, and luckily keep your hair more than me and Rick have.
So anyway, we're going to go ahead and show you a couple of the things here, Michael, while I go ahead and get set up, if you would.
One of the things that we're really proud of is that this app is coming to you, to all the EEAP clients, at no additional cost. I want to make that clear. No additional cost. This is part of the EEAP service of suite of services, the umbrella services that we offer. We're bringing this to you so that you can utilize that. We've sent you the username and passwords to your account so that you have those and access to them. Now, if you have not gotten it, or the user and password doesn't work for some reason, everybody makes mistakes. We had a couple, let's call them quirks in the system at the beginning. We want you to call the office and ask for a username and password, or you can ask any of the service reps when you're with them, and they can call the office right then while they're with you and get that username and password for you also. If you're not an EEAP client, we want you to try this out. And so if you call the office and ask for Therese, she'll be able to set you up with a time where you can try this out and have a part of this so that you can really feel this out and see where we're at.
Great. So let's show you what we've done so far with this, and
Yes.
We're going to start off here. We've created a QR code.
Right.
The site is eeap.mobi.
Very easy to get to, people, but if you don't, you can scan the QR code just like Rick has. You're going to hit the Go Online, and there's many QR code scanners. It doesn't matter which one you do. You can just pick any one you want. When you do pick it, it's going to go to the eeap.mobi, which will be looking like this.
And when you get that there, the first time you go to it, you want to make it easier to remember, and so you're going to want to save it to your phone. So if you look at the very bottom of the screen there in the center, there's a little icon that I'm going to tap on there, and it allows me to tap this other button here that says Add to Home Screen. And when I do that, I can change the name, call it whatever I want, or enter it in the way as I have it, and as you notice right here in the lower right side of my screen, it has just added an icon for me.
Bippity-boppity-boo, I guess, Rick. We put it right there. He's going to open that up. Rick, who is that beautiful lady on the top of that app?
That is our office manager here at EEAP, Lori McFate.
We all love Lori McFate. She can either make your dreams come true by taking care of all your safety issues and problems in billing, or you get on her bad side, and that never goes well.
That's right. So if you when you log in, after you log in the first time, you'll be able to save your username and password so that you'll be able to use this autofill button. Really makes your life easy.
Whoever got that should be given the Nobel Peace Prize.
And then you'll press the submit button, and it will go ahead and process and take you to the home page.
Right.
So from there you can see the four things primarily that you have access to here is safety lessons, your safety program documentation, some forms, and we'll talk a little bit about that, and custom forms, and all of our archived webinars. So let's go first and take a look at safety lessons.
When you get to the safety lessons, you're going to notice the first box at the top says English. This is a great feature so that you can change the list of lessons down below between the English and Spanish version, depending on what you read better. If you read Spanish better, then thus, just like Rick has changed it, you can do that. For our intents and purposes, Rick, since I don't read Spanish very well, let's go to English.
We're going to go to English. Another feature that it has, for one, you can scroll through and see all of the lessons that we have.
Yep.
But you can also type in here, and I will type in the word fire.
Simple, simple.
And every lesson that we have that has the word fire in it, whether it's the first word or not, is going to display there for you.
He could have typed in the word fire. He could have typed in the letters FI if you're not a great speller. So whatever you type in, just the acronyms will pull up every lesson with that series of acronyms in there.
Right. So now when you go to select your lesson, as Michael says, if you're the instructor there and you speak English and you want to search the lesson in English, you can search it for your employees. So let's go here and let's take a look at backs and lifting. So when you click that, now the lesson's going to come up, and again at the top you'll see we have the option I can change this to Spanish.
Right, and changing it to Spanish might be good because the people you've selected for, they might just read Spanish better, and thus you could change it. For this purpose, we're going to leave it in the English model, and Rick right now is scrolling through the lesson. These are the same pictures, the same verbiage, everything in the standard lesson on our PDF file on the desktop version. We've just reformatted it for this.
Look beautiful right here on your phone.
Now the first box is pink. You'll see it says EEAP. If you have a company where you have multiple physical sites or you have multiple divisions that you're trying to lock this to, this is really what it's for, and we would put those for you. For us, we only have one place, so it just says EEAP that Rick is going to select.
So that's basically for the employee, what office he's associated with. The next two tabs you'll see is a training location, which would be such as the office here, or if you're out maybe at a job site, it might be the address or a number that you use.
Rick, what happens if I forget to put in a training location, but I hit the sign-off sheet?
Well, I will tap that, and you will get a warning sign.
So your employees will be required to put in on the job site where they're at. They can put a job site number in, a name of a location, your guys' personal nickname of a job site, whatever it is. For our purposes, we're going to type in office. Very, very simple. In the trainer's name, you can type in a trainer. If you really want to have a trainer, if there was somebody who did it, or if it was just a group thing here nor there. Well, for us, what are we gonna do, Rick?
We're not gonna enter one in there because we're facilitating it for ourselves. But if we were doing it for the group, we would put in who the trainer is.
Okay.
Then we're gonna go to the sign-off sheet.
Now, in the sign-off sheet, the first thing that we can do with is typing in your name. Now, Rick Roman is going to use the feature Talk to Text to show you how this works. It's on your phones. Whoever did this should also be given the Nobel Peace Prize. Rick, please, if you will.
Bob Smith.
The magic of technology, Bob Smith's name appears. Rick is now going to sign his name as if he was Bob Smith. Forgive him on his beautiful writing. He is not a master with Bob Smith's name. At the bottom of the screen, you're going to see a teal box that says, I agree, and hopefully that's what it says in Spanish, Rick.
The little box above it says that you agree that by clicking that you've read this lesson and understand what has been taught.
The red name at the top says signature saved for Bob Smith. You know that it's locked and loaded. Now, if there were multiples at this time, you would repeat that process until you've had everybody in the group with their name and signature put in. But for this purpose, we're going to stop at the 1. You'll notice at the top that there is a red button that says Finish Training and Submit. This is for submitting the report to the computer. Once you hit that, you'll see this box that says, are you sure you want to end your training and submit the report? We said, okay. Then it says, and will tell us when it's locked and loaded. You'll see that button that says Report Generated and Complete. On the left side, Rick has logged on already and gone to the EEAP sample forms. He has selected the training schedule and records button to refresh the page, of course. We see the backs and lifting, and by the magic of technology, as you open it up, you'll see at the top the company name, which was your company, or for us, EEAP, the location, the lesson, the trainer spot is blank because we didn't put one in, but Rick Roman's Bob's signature with a time stamp, the date stamp is locked and loaded for you. And it is that simple to create a tailgate or spot training record.
Exactly. So now this is going to make your training really easy for you. And what are some of the ways, Michael, that you envision that our folks will be able to use this app as far as for the training with their employees?
Well, one of the ways that I have envisioned this working, Rick, is this. First, it's the construction guys, it's the gardeners, it's the farmers out in the field. We know firsthand that you guys have a difficult time getting the training done just to start out with, because sometimes it's hard. But then just on top of that, getting the lessons back to the people in the office that they can be archived in a way that can be saved. And even sometimes when they make it there, personnel in-house switches out, and that makes it difficult to find these. EEAP's online client center and mobile app makes this seamless. The guys in the field, in the construction, gardeners or whatnot, can be told via text message or newsletter or phone call, however, or they can pick up themselves what topics they need to do. They can do those trainings, get those signatures back in the office, and we never have to wait for them. That's the first step how we thought this could be used. The other step is going to be what we're calling spot training. It is becoming more and more and more prevalent within the OSHA system to be able to do spot individual training for your employees. Now, our people come out on site and we do these big trainings for all your people and whatnot, but sometimes you've only got 2 people in the shop that use a bandsaw. This mobile app for your manufacturing, your warehouse conditions, Rick, are going to be ideal for that. Your supervisors and your people on site can walk up to the people that they're bringing on and say, hey, here's a bandsaw. Let me show you the safety tips. They can open up their phone. They can go through the safety tips, showing them pictures and stuff that we have there. And then the employee, in his own language, in English or in Spanish, can sign his name and put that into B, so that we have a record of all the employees. So never can we say, well, we didn't train that. I think Joe trained him on that back in the shop, but I can't find the record. The guy's back there. He's got his phone, bippity-boppity-boo. It's all sealed, locked, and loaded. And those are the 2 ways. That should cover everybody, I think, Rick.
It should. And one of the things that's coming out here in the not too distant future is that you're going to have the ability here within the Client Center to do a search where you can bring up an employee by name and find every training that he did. So if you were ever cited by OSHA and they want to see all the training for Bob Smith for the last 6 months, you'll be able to go and in a click of a button bring up all of his training, and that is just going to be beautiful.
Too much.
And you're also going to be able to do it by a topic. So maybe things like heat illness, certain ones that you really need to focus on, you can look and make sure that all of your employees receive that training. You can see who's done that lesson. Hey, Joe has missed this training. We need to get him trained on that topic, and then do them individually, spot train, and it's just going to be beautiful.
I'm telling you, this is going to be coming by the end of the year. We've invested the time into programmers and people to do this. We've been putting this game together over the last couple of years, and it's starting to come into play. And you get this all for no additional services no additional fees if you're an EEAP client. It's just the suite of services that come, and so we're really proud of that. We're really proud of that.
So let's go back here and back to the app here and look at the next part here, which is the documentation, Michael, if you will.
All right, so Rick's going to hit the documentation button, get that locked and loaded. You'll notice again at the top the EEAP button. When you select that, it opens up a menu to show you multiple locations. For us, there's only EEAP. But you might have a series where it might be job sites with different documentations at the job sites, the job-specific sites. But you might have a spot where you have 7 warehouses across California we service for you, and we're going to put all those in there. That makes it so that no matter where your employees are, they can have access in a digital format to all the documentation you have. For this intensive purpose, we've got the one. Now, in this process, you can open up the Action Investigation Program by just hitting that button, and you could scroll through your thumb with it if you wanted to read it all. In this kind of a process, Rick is going to hit the bottom left corner, which says Select Chapter. Once he hits that, there are some options that naturally pop up. He'll select one of the chapters that you have before us, and when he hits that, it will automatically go to that chapter. This will work great with heat illness, your IIPP, and the other programs that somebody is looking for a specific topic within the program. One of the examples is the heat illness program. If you were in the heat illness and you wanted to see the high heat, you would just duplicate that process, go to the chapter that talked about that standard, and it would just give that to you right off the bat. The documentation alone is just going to be absolutely wonderful on that point. Yes. There is no more job site binders, Rick. No more of this that's going to be happening. You got the binder, it's in the foreman's truck, he takes off. The other guys on the job site have smartphones, they still have access to it.
And you have spoke with the folks at OSHA to make sure that they're going to accept this?
This is the key with it. Is the code says that this has to be readily available on the job site. There is no way to make this more readily available than to put it on all the smartphones of your employees. Now, a lot of you are saying, well, not all my guys have smartphones. You might be shocked that more people have smartphones in this world than toothbrushes. I'm not sure of that, but there have times that I thought that. Nonetheless, I digress. The logic of it is that your employees with smartphones can have access to this, and you are guaranteed, I got to tell you, in this life, you got to have at least somebody on the job site with a smartphone. But I promise you, even if they don't, a small tablet of some kind that can access this, it's worthy than printing up these binders. They get lost. They're insane to update because they're scattered all throughout the job sites. It's just real tough, Rick.
And that's one of the points we didn't mention, just as because this is connected right with the documentation that's in your client center, which we maintain and keep up to date.
Yes.
So it's basically a living, breathing document that when new changes go into place, they've been done, your documentation is up to date, so you don't have to worry about having something that's out of date.
There's heat illness changes that are happening as we speak, and my team is working on that right now to make sure we get those up to code, so when the law says they need to be there, we're ready to go. Your online documentation on your client center is going to be updated immediately. But this mobile app will make it so that you don't have to reprint the binders, reprint the sections. You don't have to do any of that. It's all just locked and loaded, and everything gets updated just like that.
Exactly. So let's get back here. The next item we have are forms, and that is something new since we rolled this out. We do have one on here. We're working on putting a few more together that are going to be part of the package that will come standard. Michael will talk a little bit more about some custom forms, but let's go ahead and just kind of show them here. Here's one that we've put together. So you would have a list of them here. Right now there's only the one, and it's a forklift inspection. And it's just got there your inspector, your model number. You're going to go through as you check your motor oil, your different things. Things are as they're supposed to be. You just go through here, you check them off, you get to the bottom, you sign it, and then boom, it shows up right here
in your client
center, and you'll be right there with that.
You'll notice the little icons that are by it that you can hit that'll open up and show you a little bit more information on the subject. But the logic here is to this process, like Rick is showing you right there. But this is a very general inspection form for forklifts, and so we're making our one that is broader for everybody. But we had to build the template for the first checklist to see how it worked. But we will be putting in there the accident investigation form that we put out. We have a number of job site forms that we're going to be putting out there for you and getting that locked and loaded. But no matter how many forms or what forms I put in, I am guaranteed one thing. It might not be the form you use. So we have created a system where we can do custom forms. There will be a one-time charge for that of $99 to get that custom form put into the system for you. At this point, that's what we really perceive it to be. It is a lot of work to put that form in there. We're talking about a 1 to 2 page document to put into this checklist and get in there for you. It's a one-time fee for my guys to get that into man hours, and that puts into your personal account so that it's locked and loaded. You're going to love that.
And once it's in there, you'll just be able to use it forever.
Forever. There's no other fees after that.
And then, so the last feature on the app that we mentioned is the webinars. All the webinars that we're conducting for you are obviously already in your client centers, but it's just another place that way you guys can use them actually as training material out on the job sites. We touch topics, not only management topics, but a lot of actual labor topics that you might go over with your folks, and they can access those right from the phone as well.
You really got to like the webinar feature, not just because me and Rick's voices are so fantastic, and now that we bought our first webcam, which we're thrilled by, you can see our smiling faces, that's for sure.
Yes. So now let's talk a little bit too about some of the future features. We've not thought of everything, I'm sure. We've tried to make this thing the best that we possibly can. Trying to keep it simple enough to where your guys will actually utilize it so that this will make things easy for you. But we also understand that there's some things that are going to come up that are going to really enhance this, and we're going to be able to add to those features. So we will grow on those, but we are already looking at some things, some of the things that we've been talking about, Michael, that that you might want to mention here. That
we know that there are some loopholes in this, and like Rick said, we haven't thought of everything, but we've thought of pretty much almost everything. If there is something that you'd like, don't be afraid to tell your inspector, call us in the office, email us in one way, and let us know, can we get it to do this? I have a team that is always reshaping this and getting this to be better and simpler and faster. But basically, the first thing that we know this is missing, that we need on the job site, is to solve the MSDS, or soon to be, if not yet, the SDS problem. You need to be able to get your material safety data sheets or your safety data sheets on your phone so that you can have access to those as we go. We've got a couple clients that have sent us those already, and we're putting those in to get those to work and trying to figure out how fast this is. Is there going to be an extra charge to get those on or whatnot? But the logic at this point is if you send us your SDS sheets or your MSDS sheets, we will put them on there. But we're trying to work through a couple circumstances with that first so that we know how fast we should be able to get it. But we're hoping by the end of the year we'll have a plan in place where we can say, you guys send them to us like this, we'll be able to put them on, and we're trying to do it without an extra fee so that I can keep your guys' prices in line and we add more value to the service.
A couple of the other things that we're looking into adding is an ability to basically, after an employee types their name in for the first time, that it'll autofill just like we did with the password,
Yeah.
so that everyone does, especially with the larger groups. It takes a little more time for everyone to type in their names, especially if they have a difficult name to pronounce that talk to text might not work so well with.
Yeah, they might have a long name. Me and Rick, our names are not that long. We're pretty simple, but our parents were probably boring. That's why they gave us these pretty simple names. But that is trying to get into the works. One of the other things that we're trying to see if we can get there is getting the labor law posters for you in a PDF file and seeing if we can get those on the app to you. We don't have that just yet, but we're trying to figure that out. And then also we know that the passwords that you get are a little crazy because they're automatically generated by our system. So like I said in the beginning, if you want to change it, you just bring it on in to us, call us on in, and we'll be able to get that changed to whatever you want. But we're hoping to have an internal system so that you can change your own and make it a little bit quicker.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into some of the questions and answers that we received.
All right.
We did receive questions about the username and password and ability to change. As Michael said, you can call us, we'll change those, and we're looking to get a feature that you'll be able to do that going down the road. Got a question here asking, does every employee have the same username and password?
Every employee for the mobile site has the same username and password, yes. Now, there's two username and passwords you're going to have for us. The first username and password you had was for the desktop version. That is for the administrative, the owner, the management, whoever, so because that holds the records to your detailed inspection reports. The second username and password is the common username and password that you give to all of your employees. It's the same. That way they can have access to the documentation remotely and they can get on with that and do that. If this is something that you're a manufacturing or a warehouse, you might not need everybody in the warehouse or the manufacturing to have access to the mobile app because they have the printed copy in the location that you're in. In that kind of a case, you would just give that to your management so they could do the spot training or whatnot out there. But this app, the mobile app, does not have access to the inspections so they can view them and see what they are. All it does is show you the documentation and give you the opportunity to do training and sign your name to it.
Okay. Next question, it says, is the app only available for iPhone or is it available for Android and Windows phones?
It is available for any phone that can search the internet with websites. It will be put on as an app on the iPhone once we go through the process of Apple in the next few weeks, and we're also putting it on Android's process so it can be downloaded through the app. But right now we prefer you to access it through EEAP.mobi, like we did in the QR code in the beginning of this. That right now is the way you access it, and you can have total access. So any phone that can access the internet would be able to get that. Yes, Rick.
That's right. And as I mentioned, this is a web-based app. So
Yeah.
If you have a Windows phone, then you'll just always access it through the web.
Yep.
Now someone's asking about, can we pre-select the lessons for our employees?
You can pre-select the lessons by telling them what lessons you want and sending them to you. Not a problem, you can. But we don't have a feature on the phone where you, from your administrative position, can send them through the mobile app telling them which one they want them to do, because your employees are logging on to a mobile website that is accessible by all your employees. So we really haven't accomplished that task yet. But right now, just send them a text message. You guys are going to do this lesson today or this week, and that'll be the fastest, simplest way to do it.
And that is something that we are looking into to see if that's feasible, a way that, because it would really have to be something that you'd be able to access and put in yourself, where you could maybe put out schedule for the next month or so, and your guys would see that. But that is something that we'll be looking into. Is there a handout available for showing employees how to use the app?
We're creating a handout for you that we'll be sending out through an email once we get that handout. But I'm telling you, if we've done our job right, and if we haven't, I hope you call us and tell us, because we're hopefully humble enough to take it. This should be something that within a few minutes they understand how it works. And this webinar is the easiest for them to see online, and you can train everybody based off the webinar.
Yeah, I mean, we really tried to make this thing very intuitive to where somebody could look at this and be able to figure it out without really having to go through a long process. But you do have the webinar, as Mike says, to refer to, and we're working on getting some sort of handout.
Yeah.
Next question is asking about a replay. And of course, we just mentioned that.
We have the replay. It's on our YouTube channel. Also, it'll be on our website and all that stuff, so you'll be able to see that. No problem.
Exactly. So that is it for questions. Again, folks, before I let Mike sign off for us here, if you have any other questions for us, if you have any recommendations, anything that can help contribute to this, we're happy to hear from you. Michael?
Let me just say that at EEAP, we're striving our best to make sure we build a product at a good, low price that we can take care of your safety needs. We appreciate your business more than you know. We know you have choices, and we're grateful that you use EEAP, the safety people. We really are doing our hearts to make sure we're listening to what you have to say. If you've got a problem, we would love to help you solve those through our safety app, our mobile website, and our people coming out to you to be able to answer questions. If you have any concerns or comments, you can call us directly in the office. You can ask for Lori McFate, myself, or whoever answers the phone, and I promise you, me and my team of management are very close to the ground floor, so we do not lose connection with our clients, and we appreciate you coming out today.
Thank you, and we'll see you next month.